Greetings, kindred friend. Have you ever woken up in the early morning, looked out the window, and suddenly realized the world outside is rushing by, seemingly faster than your own heartbeat? You step before the mirror, touch the wrinkles at the corners of your eyes, and a poignant sensation suddenly exists. What has time silently taken from me? You look at old friends whose hair has now turned to frost. You look at a body that was once strong but now feels like a stranger with unannounced aches. The feeling of being left behind by age is like a gray cloud overshadowing your peace every time night falls. However, dear friend, let me give you a liberating truth at this very moment. The real struggle you are wearily carrying is not the battle against old age. It is the struggle against your own resistance to it. The Buddha called this law anicca impermanence. We suffer not because the flower must wither, but because we strive to keep the petals forever green on the branch. The truth is, impermanence is not a sentence to be feared. It is the only key for you to open the door to absolute freedom. In tonight's quiet journey, I want to share with you 5 Buddhist truths that will completely change your lens on aging. Stay with me until the end of the video, because when you stop fighting time, you will realize a more radiant beauty is blooming right within the stillness of your own soul. The first truth, you will be forgotten, and that is a grace. Be still and look at what you have painstakingly built over the past decades, the job position you were once proud of, the certificates that have begun to yellow the house you cared for, or even the reputation you strove to maintain in the eyes of those around you. There is a reality that our minds rarely dare to face. The truth is, you will be forgotten faster than you think. In just 2 or 3 generations, our names will be nothing more than a faint line on a family tree, and then gradually vanish completely from the world's memory. For a modern world that worships legacy and personal impact, this is a pain. But for Buddhist wisdom, this is the beginning of ultimate liberation. The concept of non-self, anatta. In the Zen tradition, there is a story of a young monk who approached his master with a sorrowful face. He asked, "Master, do you not feel sad knowing that one day no one in this world will mention your name and all your teachings will vanish into thin air?" The Zen master did not answer with words. He silently led the disciple to the bank of a rushing river. He pointed to the water and asked, "Look, where is the water of yesterday now?" The disciple was bewildered. The master smiled and said, "Yesterday's water has flowed into the ocean. It has evaporated into clouds. It has turned into rain to cool the forest. That water is no longer here in its old form. It has lost its name, but its presence has nourished all the life it passed through." So, what does a name matter anymore? Dear friend, your life is that very water. As you enter your twilight years, your ego often fears because it feels itself fading in the eyes of society. But do you realize, when you are no longer under the pressure to be remembered, you truly begin to live? We do not need to strive to leave a stone monument, because your essence, the kindness you gave, the patience you had for your children, the stillness you brought to a room, has all dissolved into the eternal flow of the universe. You are not forgotten. You are simply transforming from a name into an inspiration. Tonight, as you lie in the silent darkness, let the burden of having to be great fall away. Whisper this truth to your heart. Our goal should not be to be remembered, but to be fully present. When you accept the world's forgetfulness, you will receive yourself back. You no longer have to perform, no longer have to worry about status. You are allowed to be a pure existence, light and free, like a mist vanishing into the void, yet carrying within you the healing power of a compassionate ocean. The second truth, the body will betray you. Learn to befriend it. Take a moment tonight to listen to the silent voice of your body. Perhaps it is a dull pain in the knee with every step up the stairs, the weariness in the lower back after a long day, or eyes that have begun to blur like the morning mist. We often feel a hidden anger, a sense of being betrayed by the only home we inhabit. You were once the strong one, the protector of the whole family, but now, even walking a short distance makes your breath heavy. Western society often teaches us to fight against aging, viewing signs of weakness as enemies to be destroyed by medicine or sheer will. Yet, in the compassionate view of the Buddha, your body is not betraying you. On the contrary, it is the most loyal and devoted friend you have ever had. It has strained to carry every journey, every effort, and every joy or sorrow of yours for over 60 years. Joint pain or slowness are not signs of collapse. They are gentle announcements that this friend has completed its arduous mission and now needs your care in a different way. To understand this, imagine an old earthenware jar used to carry water from the river to the house every day. Over time, that jar begins to show tiny cracks. Water starts to leak through those gaps. The water carrier might feel disappointed because the jar is no longer whole as it once was. However, looking back at the path he traveled, he is stunned to realize it is thanks to the water leaking from the cracks of the old jar that the seeds along the road have sprouted into brilliant flower beds, providing shade for other travelers. Your body tonight is that precious earthenware jar. The creases on your skin and the aches in your bones are the cracks carrying your compassion and wisdom out into the world. You weaken, but your soul becomes deeper. You slow down, but your presence becomes steadier for your descendants. Understand this healing truth. Your body is not your enemy. It is your oldest companion. Tonight, as you lie warm under the covers, instead of blaming the parts that are protesting, I invite you to perform a ritual of reconciliation. Place your hand where you feel the most pain. Take a deep breath to send kindness there instead of anger. When you loosen the effort to control or fix your body, your nervous system receives an ultimate safety signal. You do not need to be a perfect person to be loved. You just need to be yourself, in a form that is gradually finding its sacred rest. Sleep in gratitude for this physical friend, for it is those very cracks that are nourishing the flower of awakening in your heart. The third truth, you cannot keep everyone, and that is the freedom of the heart. At this age, the greatest pain is sometimes not loneliness, but torment. When we see close relationships gradually fading over time, we often fall into the trap of self-questioning. What did I do wrong? Why did they leave me when I needed them most? We try to cling to figures that have changed direction, striving to use duty or old feelings to keep them by our side. But the tighter we grip, the more exhausted and hurt we feel. Dear friend, let Buddhist wisdom soothe this wound with a more realistic image. Imagine we are all drops of water in a great river. Two drops of water meet at a rapid, blending together, flowing through rich floodplains for a long stretch of the road. We call that friendship, love, or kinship. However, the river always operates according to its own laws. A blocking rock or a sudden bend will push one drop to the left bank and the other to the right. That is not betrayal, nor is it because one drop is no longer valuable to the other. It is simply that the karmic connection has been completed. Understand this liberating truth. Love does not mean ownership. Our mistake is trying to build a dam to keep the drops of water with us forever. When you try to keep someone whose connection has ended, you not only make them suffer, but you are personally strangling your own peace. The truth is, no one truly leaves you. They are only completing their journey in the river of life. Tonight, as you lie in the darkness, perform a ritual of loosening the heart. Imagine the faces of those who have moved away, or those you feel disconnected from. Do not look at them with resentment. Look at them with a smile of gratitude because they once watered your soul. Whisper, I allow you to be free, and I allow myself to be at peace. When you stop expecting everyone to stand still for you, your nervous system will receive the deepest signal of safety. You are not being left behind. You are simply learning to flow with the universe. The fourth truth, you are no longer young, and that is the refinement of the soul. Dear friend, have you ever happened to look back at an old photo of yourself from 30 or 40 years ago? In a certain moment, does your heart tighten with regret for the radiance of your skin, the thickness of your hair, or the yearning gaze of youth? We live in an era obsessed with the concept of anti-aging. Billions of dollars are spent every year just to convince us that wrinkles are the enemy, and gray hair is a reminder of decay that needs to be hidden. We strive to cling to the outer shell, only to feel a silent failure every time we look in the mirror because we cannot defeat time. But in Buddhist wisdom, beauty has never been defined by the smoothness of the skin. True beauty is the reflection of the inner self. To understand this, imagine the difference between a brilliant cherry blossom and a 1,000-year-old pine tree. The spring cherry blossom is magnificent. It is fragile, pure, and makes anyone passing by stop and wonder. However, that beauty is based on vanity and brevity. Just a light breeze is enough to scatter it. That is the beauty of youth, attractive but vulnerable. On the other side of the garden, there is an ancient pine tree. Its trunk is gnarled, full of the cracks of time. Its needles no longer have a lush look, but carry an incredibly majestic and silent aura. People might not come to take photos of the pine tree, as they do with the cherry blossoms, but when storms strike, when the snow falls white, the cherry blossoms have long vanished into mist, while the pine tree still stands there, steady, contemplative, and sheltering all things. Your old age tonight is the image of that ancient pine. The wrinkles at the corners of your eyes are not signs of senility. They are a map, recording the times you laughed until you cried, and the times you bravely walked through pain. Gray hair is not the color of depleted time. It is the color of wisdom that has been tempered through thousands of sleepless nights. Engrave this liberating truth into your heart. Beauty does not fade. It transforms. Tonight, perform an act of kindness toward yourself. Instead of looking in the mirror to search for what has been lost, look deep into your eyes to see the tolerance that has grown over the years. Tell yourself, I am no longer a bud waiting to bloom. I am already a deep green forest. When you stop using the ruler of youth to impose upon yourself, you will realize an unprecedented dignity. Sleep in the fulfillment of a steady pine tree, knowing that your value right now lies in the depth of your roots and the composure of your soul, not in the easily fallen petals of the past. The fifth truth. You will witness loved ones depart, and that is when love becomes immortal. Try quietly looking at your phone contacts or the old photos on the table. Do you realize the list of people to call is getting shorter? There is a silent and heavy reality that few dare to name when speaking of old age, that is having to take turns bidding farewell to the companions of your generation. Soulmates who once walked through youth with you, siblings who shared a roof, or even the life partner who shared your bed for half a century. They take turns crossing the threshold of the temporary realm, leaving you with voids that nothing can fill. In those moments, an incredibly cruel feeling of being left behind will invade your soul. You ask yourself, why has everyone gone toward the light while I am still lonely here with this pain? Am I being punished with solitude? However, dear friend, let me tell you about a woman who once brought such pain before the Blessed One. It is the story of Kisa Gotami. Kisa Gotami had an only son, who was her entire source of life and hope. When the child suddenly died, she went mad with grief, carrying her son's body throughout the village, begging for medicine to bring him back to life. Finally, she met the Buddha. He looked at her with infinite compassion and said, I can save your child, but on one condition. Go into the city and ask for a handful of mustard seeds from any house where no relative has ever died. Kisa Gotami was full of hope. She knocked on every door. But at every house she received the same answer. Madam, the living are few, but the dead are countless. My house has lost a father. My house has lost a child. My house has lost a friend. As the sunset fell, sitting by the roadside watching the city lights flicker on and then out, she suddenly realized human life is just like those lights, shining brightly and then vanishing into the darkness. She was not lonely in her pain. She was standing in the same flow with all of humanity. Her pain, it turned out, was the thread connecting her with every beating heart in this world. Dear friend, The lesson for Kisa Gotami is also the gift for you tonight. Loss is not a sign of you being abandoned. It is the confirmation of a love that once existed. You hurt because you once loved deeply. You yearn because your life was watered by wonderful souls. Change how you perceive the pain of loss. Instead of trying to get over it like an obstacle, learn to carry it like a medal of love. Engrave this truth into your heart. Grief is not something we get over. It is something we learn to live with. Tonight, when you feel the chill from the empty spaces in the house, try performing a healing ritual for your hurting nervous system. Take a deep breath. Feel the beat of your heart, where departed loved ones still exist in every drop of blood, every memory, and every good quality they passed on to you. You are not left behind. You are the one keeping the light for all those who went before. When you transform your lamentation into gratitude, you will see you are no longer lonely on the world's platform. You have become a living library of the most noble feelings. Let love cover you like a soft silk blanket. Do not fear separation, because in the eternal flow of consciousness, no one is truly lost. They are simply waiting for you in the stillness of your own heart. Dear friend, after all we have shared, let me give you a final confirmation. Old age is not a punishment of time, nor is it a bitter retreat. On the contrary, old age is a sacred privilege. In a volatile world, not everyone has the luck to wear the medals of time, wrinkles, and gray hair. The suffering you have felt for so long does not actually come from your age, but from resistance. When you stop fighting the law of impermanence, you will realize a liberating ultimate truth. Aging is not something being taken from you, it is something being given. Every breath right now is a gift. Every memory you cherish is a treasure. You are not left behind. You are simply shifting to a deeper and more refined rhythm of life where stillness is worth more than 1,000 words. If these truths have helped your heart tighten less and found a bit of light amidst the darkness, please help me spread this good energy with a like and subscribe. That is how we together build a community of kindred friends, guiding each other into old age with wisdom. Before vanishing into the dream of rebirth, leave a comment below. I embrace my journey as a silent commitment to your own soul. Wishing you a long night of peace, complete letting go, and a morning awakening as radiant as the dawn. Goodbye, and see you again in the next journeys of awakening.